The morning was soft, the kind of Saturday when the air had the smell of fresh mown grass, and the whir of sprinklers obscured the world's din. I was folding the American flag outside by the porch, its corners crisp between my fingers when a hard yelp cut through the serenity. My spine froze before my brain could catch up. I was already in motion, my son's naming in my head. There he was flung on the pavement, his wheelchair tipped one wheel spinning uselessly. Blood trickled from his elbow. His palms scraped raw. His toy drone lay crushed under a neighborhood mailbox post, and standing there, 3 feet away, arms crossed, lips twisted into a smirk, was Linda, the HOA president. Her frosted hair gleamed, her sweatpants looked ironed, and that badge on her chest screamed authority she didn't deserve. She laughed, not loudly, but enough to stop the world, not because she ruled this manicured suburb, but because she looked at my boy Ethan, who'd endured more pain than she'd ever be able to understand and treated his fall like a punchline. That's when I knew this wasn't about rules, this was war. I didn't say. As I reached Ethan, I picked him up, examined his knee brace, wiped blood from his chin. His eyes wouldn't focus on me. Stunned, betrayed, Linda's voice sliced through sharp as a blade. "He should have been more careful," she said, as if it were his fault. She'd cautioned him against riding that contraption on the sidewalk. I looked at the skid marks where his wheelchair ran off. She hadn't simply gotten in the way, stepped in front of him. Ethan breathed. She kicked my wheel. Dad, the words landed like a grenade. I experienced the burn, not fear or panic, but the contained rage I'd felt in Fallujah, when a friend didn't return when doctors told Ethan might never walk again. Linda, feeling she'd crossed a line, grew louder, defensive, accusing Ethan of speeding, disrespecting her dear community standards from who I asked. She didn't respond, just waved her hands, badge flashing like a shield. She felt it made her invincible. She felt I was just a dad in flannel. She had no clue. I wheeled Ethan home, his hands holding the chair like he was scared to breathe within. He questioned, "Why does she despise me?" I wished to bellow. Instead, I knelt, looked into his eyes. "She doesn't despise you, son. She despises that which she cannot dominate. You are powerful, that frightens her." But as I opened the first aid kit, Ethan peered out of the window and questioned, "Will she get away with it?" I hesitated. Not due to doubt, but due to knowledge. "Not this time," I declared. Not even remotely. That night, sleep didn't arrive. Ethan wasn't just my son who was my assignment. Linda had invaded ground. She didn't know, assuming she'd encountered a quiet neighbor. She didn't realize she'd awakened a Marine Corps commander who'd spent 20 years traversing war zones, who knew how to strategize, strike, and complete what she did. Wasn't merely cruel, it was assault by morning while Ethan slept. I opened my laptop and discovered Linda's post on the community forum, alleging Ethan crashed into her, leaving her shaken. 2 comments supported her, likely her loyalists who smiled in my face and spoke behind online. I didn't respond. Instead, I pulled our security camera. It didn't capture everything, but it captured enough. Linda stepping forward, her foot jutting out Ethan's fall, her flinch not of horror, but annoyance. I summoned an old recon tech who owed me by noon. I had drone video of Ethan's typical route, serene. No incidents, just a kid in sunlight. I also found the HOA rulebook page 68. Section 12.3, no member shall obstruct walkways, particularly for medical equipment. Linda had broken her own rules. I made coffee, took a breath, and began constructing my case. This would not be a shouting match or a Facebook feud. I'd take apart her world, employing her own systems. Linda wasted no time. By morning, flyers blanketed the neighborhood, accusing Ethan of reckless behavior. With grainy shots of her legs, angled to pretend injury, she called his wheelchair misconduct. Like his mobility was a crime. Ethan spotted one as we walked, his jaw clenching, his pride and his independence spoiled that day. A letter from the HOA signed by Linda accused our family of breaking guidelines by running a mechanical device without clearance. I let out, sat next to Ethan on the couch, and explained to him what my drill instructor used to tell me. Pressure reveals who a person is. Linda was unraveling myself. I began accumulating Cheryl, a former nurse. Next door explained how Linda discovered her for a porch grab rail, labeling it unsightly. An elderly couple confessed they ceased holding Bible study due to Linda's noise complaints. Patterns began. I researched HOA records online, evading weak security. Linda never anticipated anyone to call into question 5 years of notes, fines, budgets, every fence fix, every street cleaning. Triple the cost of normal, all connected to a landscaping business. Registered to Linda's brother, sloppy fraud. Then our yard got vandalized. Ethan's painted gnome, smashed his basketball hoop, torn down security video, captured shadows, but one thing jumped out: white sneakers with red stripes, like the limited edition pair Linda boasted about at an HOA meeting. I spoke with my attorney, a buddy from my previous tour, who understood disability rights. I sent him all of it: video, flyers, vandalism, fraud. He stated a civil case for discrimination and endangerment, but told patients let her hang herself. Linda doubled down, threatening to take Ethan's wheelchair ramp away as an unauthorized construction. I sent it to my attorney, who sent a warning. Any tampering would result in immediate legal action. Then our mailbox was torn open, a note inside: stand down, or things get ugly. Porch surveillance captured. Dean, Linda's sidekick, at 3 a.m. I called the sheriff, who flagged our residence. Ethan returned home bruised, claiming he fell, but afterward accepted a boy in school, pushed him after Linda's venom. I embraced him, fists balled later under the stars. She was not merely warring mesh, was toxifying minds. The emergency HOA meeting was filled. Linda strutted in, blazer sharp, but the room atmosphere had changed. Hushed stares, arms crossed. Cheryl spoke, first recounting years of fines. Others did so. A service dog cited frivolous fence infractions. The truth gushed, eroding Linda's authority. She yelled, declared the meeting illegal, but a resident read the bylaws. Residents could vote to oust a board member with cause hands. Rose, Linda's, quivered as she voted no. The motion carried. She was suspended. Dean resigned. Harold disappeared. The board called for an audit, asking volunteers that evening. Ethan drew a robot, asking if the evil lady was gone. I told him she wouldn't bother us for a while. He grinned, and I felt momentum, not triumph, but movement. Linda didn't stop. A letter from her attorney accused me of slander and illegal taping, requiring me to trash my recordings. My lawyer laughed. It was frivolous. Designed to shake, I met with the new HOA board, presenting my records. The audit disclosed $50,000 spent on misspent money, phony vendors, and inflated contracts. Connected to Linda's relatives, the board forwarded it to the county, who issued a warrant. Linda was criminally charged that night. The sheriff waited at her residence. She froze when she spotted them, dropped her shopping, and sat on her porch step as cuffs snapped on. I watched from within. Breathing normally, the chapter spinning, the neighborhood transformed. Sidewalk, chalk came back, children rode bikes, freely. Neighbors spoke openly. Ethan rolled further alone. His confidence growing again. The ramp Linda focused received a new navy paint job, 2 flags planted by Ethan at a community barbecue. A sign read, "We take care of our own." Ethan laughed with friends' barbecue sauce on his hands, belonging again. The county invited me to a town hall on resilience. Ethan wanted to come, so I agreed. I spoke of his fall. How one cruel act exposed deeper rot. How silence feeds bullies, and how strength shows up quietly, relentlessly. The crowd stood. Ethan beamed, not for attention, but understanding Linda's trial. Loomed her house for sale, her name fading. Ethan wrote an essay on Heroes' late mother, his counselor. Me, he wrote how I made him feel strong again. I read it, sat quietly touched by his dignity. Just after midnight. A click on the driveway awakened me. The porch camera captured Linda, hooded near Ethan's ramp. The motion sensor chimed headlights. A pause, a cruiser. She attempted to walk off, but the officer halted her. She'd breached the restraining order. Another charge was added. Ethan inquired that morning whether we were safe. I nodded. He poured his cereal. He ate quietly, stronger every day. The flag still flew above our porch. Not decor, but a promise of service protection. This place wasn't perfect, but it was ours. We made it better.